get it started now. Freedom, 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 freedom. My freedom begins at Life Force Canada.
Welcome to Life Force Canada. I'm Karen, and I'm here to remind you that you're not alone and to keep you focused on feeling empowered as we are exiting this human slavery system and stepping into greater freedom. Even though it doesn't feel like it right now, we are. We are bringing power back to the people, back to each town. And again, as I mention quite often, that we are not fighting, we're not here to fight anyone, we're not here to fight the government, we are for the people's government. And you're here to learn how to self-govern, and that is a really big step. Again, the chat's open, so please say hello. And if you're new here, welcome. Let us know what part of Canada that you're in. It's really great in the chat if you let people know where you're from, because there could be people in your town that are here, and we really need to be in community right now. And again, thank you to those who answered questions in the chat that I do not see. And again, if you are new here, I do recommend that you listen to the replays in our Life Force Canada YouTube channel so that you can, hello, Dorothy from Fort McMurray, Joanne from Camrose, hello, Tamara from Kelowna. So before I get into our topic of discussion, I want to share that I was shopping in Chinook Mall on the weekend here in Calgary. Again, I'm the only one not wearing a mask. Everyone is so kind and so friendly. You know, a guy in the bay saw me waiting in line, and he told me, you know, with his mask on, right? He told me that there was a register over there in the shoe department, that there was no lineup. Recommended I go and stand over there in line. I said, thank you so much. And I went over there, and the guy at the till, he was very friendly. And then I went to Costco with Norma Jean. It was my first trip in Costco in over probably 2 years. And again, everyone was kind. No one really cares that we're not wearing a mask. And no one really cares you're not wearing a mask in the majority, I would say, of the grocery stores or in the malls. So freedom is right here in front of us, if we're open to claiming it, right? It's important. So we at Life Force Canada are here to educate you on how to prepare for change, to define the changes that you want to make together within the 9 pillars, and then how we can co-create a self-governing system. Okay, so let's all take a deep breath in of that life force energy. I trust with everything that you're going through, you're doing a lot of deep breathing every day. We all saw this coming, right, in regards to what you know, what we've been saying for the last year. Our government makes extraordinary profits, right, when our provinces are in a state of emergency. The government makes a lot of money in every country. And so when they create a pandemic, they create a state of emergency. And then we saw it coming, right? Climate change was next, and here it is. So they're blaming the weather on climate change with all the fires and the floods in BC. And the storm, you know, that's washed out a couple towns, I think in Newfoundland, they had over 200 millimeters of rain. Yeah, we just need to send our love to all those people who are suffering right now. And as I mentioned in the email that I sent out, there is a sinister plot against humanity on all levels, right, including weather control. So that they're calling it the atmospheric river, right? Rain that's unleashed and causes mudslides. Mud floods, mudslides. The crazy thing is, right, the premier of British Columbia warned that disasters were going to probably hit even more so at a greater frequency and with greater impact. Yeah, so we need to focus, of course, on our planned councils, creating sovereignty, creating our self-governing system, and again, prepare for change, prepare for everything right now. So we look at what's happening with all these towns, the floods, the evacuations. I want to make sure, right, that everyone here in Life First Canada is taken care of as well, because we are one big family. So tonight we're going to be discussing the importance of going over a disaster preparedness plan. We've talked about this in the past in regards to preparing food, water, etc. And then we're going to have a Q&A, and then we're going to have a meditation to help you lower the stress. This is not an easy topic, but it is a very important one. Going through a traumatic event can create a number of losses, which may bring uncertainty and anxiety about the future. And your environment may change, and adjusting to newness can be difficult. So if we do not feel safe, it is difficult for us to change. And if we do not trust ourselves or our environment, then we're in survival mode. And there is no energy then to create that change or to see change as something that's good. When we fear our surroundings or others or ourselves even, we react, right? We can be reactionary from that subconscious programming, from a fear-based perspective in order to keep us safe. When you have no control over a stressful situation, you still have control over what? You have control over your own thoughts, right? We do have control over our own emotional body. Yes, we do. We haven't been taught this in many ways, but we do. So having a plan can help you stay calm and feel more in control. So being prepared physically can and will help you feel better emotionally and mentally to help you make better choices during any crisis. So being emotionally prepared for a disaster or emergency can help you reduce your stress and anxiety. If you can manage your stress every day, which is why I'm always sharing with you the importance of meditation and deep breathing. This is really what's going to help you cope through challenging times, because we are in challenging times, as you know. So flowing and thriving in life comes from having that open heart, right? A relaxed mind and a state of trust, no matter what's happening, right? So it's seeing yourself in the center of the storm. The storm can be going on around you, and you can be observing the storm, but you are not the storm, and you're not in the storm, you're observing the storm. And from that place, standing in the center, you can breathe and stay calm and move through anything. And when there's a deep undercurrent in knowing that you can simply be yourself and knowing that you are lovable and life is actually here to support you, you move out of the contracted survival mode and into opening and having a trusting mindset, which will really then shift everything for you. And you must not fear what is coming. I know that can be a challenge. We are learning to let go of our fear right now. So instead of fearing the future, see yourself, okay, on an adventure. We're all on an adventure because you're here for a reason. Your soul made this choice to be here at this time, to be a part of this, of the biggest adventure in the history of the universe. It's exciting. And again, you're going to be feeling fear because it is the collective consciousness, and we're all connected to that collective. So what you're being called to do is, we're all being called to step into the inner authority, which is our higher self, which knows the truth, right? And so as we begin to look at everything outside of ourselves, And we need to become aware. We need to observe in order for us to prepare and move through the transition. We just don't know how long the transition is going to be, but on the other side, life is beautiful. Okay, so trust in that. So right now, I'm just going to share with you a video, and it's the Canadian prepper. I think he's amazing. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because some people are not aware of what's happened in British Columbia, and people who are going to be watching the replay, maybe watching the replay from other parts of the world. I was on an international call yesterday with the PGSD, and there was quite a few people from all different countries on the call, and they weren't even aware of what's happening here in Canada. And so I do want to play this video.
Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. I want to give you guys a quick update and hot take on what is going on out on the west coast of Canada. As some of you may have heard, we have suffered one of the worst flooding incidents in Canadian history, possibly one of the most expensive, a catastrophic deluge inundating the west coast with a month's worth of rain in the span of 24 hours. Extremely serious stuff. Now, it's even more serious because all of the major corridors and railways through that region, which basically connect the Vancouver ports, where all our stuff comes from China, to the more populous east, have been completely severed and cut off. Bridges blown out, highways washed out, and these are no easy feats of engineering. These are railways and roadways which are going to take a significant amount of time to fix. Now, they're working on detours to try to reroute those supply trucks around through the United States and maybe through some northern highways in BC. But that is going to lead to an even greater bottleneck, supply chain bottleneck, that we're already seeing as a result of the labor shortages and the port congestion, the inflation, and all the rest. So Eastern Canada should expect to feel the shockwave of this in the next couple of weeks. Right now, they're feeling the blast wave on the ground there in BC and southern BC. And they're starting to see panic buying. There's evacuation orders. The RCMP are in there throwing their weight around, telling people they got to leave. Some people are resisting and staying in place. That's their choice. Is it the right choice? I don't know, because in the forecast, there's still rain for this entire week. Now, I'm not sure what kind of rain we're talking about, but it's certainly not going to make the situation easier. They're calling this a once in a 500-year flood. Now, this is on the back of one of the hottest years on record, well, the hottest year on record, with the highest recorded temperature in all of Canadian history, which completely destroyed the previous record. It was around 50 degrees Celsius or something crazy like that. That's very high. I'm not sure what that translates into in Fahrenheit, probably 120 or something like that. But for Canada, that is catastrophically hot. And of course, the town where that was recorded in burned down shortly thereafter. This is on the back of record drought. So we're seeing these extremes. Okay? Nature is such a powerful force that it could disconnect the West from the East in an instant. And this is something we've talked about on this channel before, is one of the Achilles heels of large countries like Canada, is that when you have these corridors, which are engineered through these very complicated pathways, like through the mountain ranges, all you have to do is take out a roadway and you've basically disconnected the entire country. This is why if there ever was a major war between nations, some of the primary targets are going to be these choke points, these bottlenecks, these highly sophisticated feats of engineering. That form of attrition will be something which is employed, and it's something that you should base your strategy as to where you want to live around. Now, out in Victoria and Vancouver, some parts of Vancouver, they're fine. In fact, they're probably still going to have all their stuff for Christmas because they're right at the ports. But everybody else out there in Eastern Canada is going to be essentially screwed. So just to give you some other details with respect to what's going on the ground. So no water, no sewage. I'm sure there could potentially be some risks of waterborne illness at some point for the people who have decided to stay behind. There's no supplies getting to these regions. panic buying. Shelves are being cleared. They're putting limits on the amount of groceries that you can purchase. They're coming on the media saying don't panic buy and shaming people for wanting to go out and get prepared. Now, if you've been listening to this channel for the longest time, you would have done your part by not having to succumb to panic buying because you would already have been prepared. But for those who didn't and waited too late, you'll now get dirty looks in the store if you try to take more than your share. So this is why it's so important to buy when the market is low. And what I mean by that is you prepare when things aren't going bad. And you don't just wait until something goes bad and then all of a sudden you're a prepper. That's not how it works. And I can guarantee you, the sad thing of all this is most people are going to forget about this in a few months. And when the next major disaster rolls around, because they're coming more frequently and more intensely, those same people are going to be caught with their pants down once again. And you can't really fault these people for living in this region. I know there's lots of comments saying, oh, they're living in a floodplain and, they should have expected this. There's a lot of great reasons to live in the Fraser Valley regions and in some of the regions in southern BC where this happened. Okay, it's a wonderful place to grow crops and one of the most fertile regions, some of the nicest weather. But with that, of course, you're living on numerous fault lines you have to take into consideration. But we got to remember, this is a 1 in 500 year flood. Part of the reason why this likely happened was because of an anomalous weather event they're calling an atmospheric river. They always have some sort of explanation for this. But another part of it was the fact that it was such a dry year that the ground likely just couldn't absorb that moisture readily enough, even if it wasn't a dry year, there was a good chance that it wouldn't have been able to absorb this amount of moisture. Anyways, in that region now, agriculture has been completely wiped out, destroyed. People are just trying to save their livestock right now. There's a lot of agricultural supplies like cattle feed, which comes from that region to the rest of Canada, which is now going to be drastically impeded. So that's why they're in such a panic to find these detours around these broken down bridges and highways so that they can get those farmers the stuff that they need. There's been electrical fires as a result of this, and all of this on the cusp of winter. So in some places, that flooding turned to ice. So if you could imagine a flooded out place turning to ice, that is just absolutely unheard of. Merritt, BC was one of the places that I visited earlier in the year when I did my mini documentary on the droughts and the wildfires. Merritt has just had the worst of luck this year. They probably had the lowest air quality out of any Canadian city ever for a sustained period of time due to the crazy wildfires that were burning there this year. Record temperatures now completely under water. This is why strategic location at this point in time is so incredibly important. The problem is that there's not a lot of places to run to. Every place that you choose to lay anchor is going to come with some potential drawback. Out here where I live in the dead of winter, if that natural gas turns off, people are screwed. People are going to be doing whatever they can just to stay warm. That will be 23 hours of your day is finding a way to stay warm. Now, on the topic of supply shortages for Eastern and Western Canada, a significant amount of produce comes from that region, but usually in the summertime, I'm not really sure how that works. If there's a lot of processed stuff that comes out of there in the fall and in the winter, I presume that there probably is, that serves the rest of Eastern Canada. So that's going to be drastically impeded. I know myself with the store, CanadianPreparedness.com, a lot of our distributors are based out of BC. And basically they're telling me that, we're not going to be able to get you stuff for likely until the highways are fixed or until there's a cost-effective detour around these blown out bridges and highways and railway systems. So this really has caught people off guard, but I don't think it's really sunk in for people out east yet what this means. And I would just encourage people not to panic buy, because if anything, we prepper channels, we are the ones who are preventing people from panic buying, because we're saying get your stuff before it hits the fan. There's a good chance that the majority of people who watch this channel are already prepared. You don't have to be a part of that panic buying problem. But I will say this, that shockwave of panic buying is going to creep out east as the big box stores that are typically replenished by rail or by semi-truck are no longer having their regular shipments. So on top of the increase already in price due to inflation, on top of the port congestion bottleneck, Canadians are now going to have to deal with this. Now, fortunately, a lot of these big box stores are a little slow to move with respect to reflecting inflation in the final sticker price, although some have become very efficient. Some have digital pricing so that they can instantly, at the push of a button, change all the prices in the store. Like Superstore has a system by which everything is digital. So when you go and you buy a can of soup, it'll tell you the price there, but there's a digital screen there that tells you how much it is. So they could easily change the price in an instant. So all I'm saying, don't go out and panic buy, but expect that there may be some panic buying out there in the East, which is the most populated region of Canada. This is something that somebody just sent me on Instagram.
Again, this is something that we really don't want to talk about, but we really need to. And as I mentioned too, a lot of the premiers are reminding people that it's going to get worse before it gets better. And so it's going to be really important for us to begin to prepare ourselves. So I have created, it's just making sure that you are prepared for anything. And again, this is not about panicking, making sure that you are prepared, especially if you have children. I wanted to create this. It's 4 pages. I made it easy to follow through with, and just ideas that you can step into and go, oh my, okay, I've thought about this, but I haven't thought about that. And I'm trusting that you are prepared for change in many ways. And this is just, again, a reminder. And so again, our family may not be together if a disaster strikes. So it's important to know which types of disasters could affect your area. I've been saying this for a while now. If you are in a floodplain, you might want to think about moving. And it doesn't have to be moving today or anything, but just become aware. If you look at where Abbotsford is, Abbotsford used to be a lake. And so it's finding these areas. Dwayne and I were just watching a show, it's a documentary, and the state of Oregon actually had a very, very large lake. It's not there right now, but it used to be a lake as well. So it's just finding these places and, you know, where you live, what disasters could potentially be there. If I look at where I live right now, I'm in Calgary. And yes, we've had flooding in our downtown area, High River area. Yeah, they call it High River. However, where I am, I'm on high ground. So I don't really have to worry about water here. What I would be concerned about is that if there is a flood in Calgary, a lot of the people tend to come up where we are and just empty the stores. And so that's just something that, you know, make sure that you've got your food in place. So put a plan together by discussing the questions below with your family, friends, or household to start your emergency plan. What are the needs of my family is number 1. Number 2 is what is my shelter plan? 3, what is my evacuation route? 4 is what is my family household communication plan? That is very important. And 5, do I need to update my emergency preparedness kit? So we're just going to go through all those 5 steps there. So the first one is what are the needs of my family? So this is about you making sure that you are very aware of the needs of everyone, no matter what age they are, and defining what the responsibilities for each one's going to be, what their dietary needs are, medical needs, including prescriptions, etc. Especially if you've got children or seniors. Anyone with disabilities, cultural, religious considerations, and pets or service animals. And then number 2 is what is my shelter plan? Again, is your home safe? Make sure you do your research. Yeah, if you need to leave your home, decide on a safe and familiar place to establish a family meeting place. So we call them muster points. So on our conversations here in Alberta, my home, for example, is a muster point. So if anything happens, people can actually come to my home. Everyone needs to know where to go to feel protected. This could be a home of a friend, relative, school, or library. So it's really defining and becoming aware of the people who live in your community. So if I look at Calgary again, we can divide Calgary up into 4 sections. So looking at people in those different sections, whose homes could we create as muster points in those sections? And then becoming aware and making sure that we have all of their contact information. So you might want to do that where you are in your town as well. And then number 3 is, what is my evacuation route? You can never be too prepared. So when disaster hits, it can be very difficult to think clearly, right? So this is what you want to prepare now. So if something ever does happen, you have the plan in front of you, your 1 to 10 steps, whatever it is you have, and your family is just ready to go. And knowing where you're going is going to be key. The first step is getting everyone on the same page. That's going to be really, really important. Making sure each family member knows the safest route out of the house, having a backup plan. Again, especially if you have small children, it's making sure that you are creating those practice runs. Very, very important. A plan that includes an evacuation route helps to calm everyone before and in the event of an emergency. It takes away the what do I do? That's what creates the panic, right? Oh no, what do I do? And that panic can then create adrenaline. And then all of a sudden, if one person's in fear, everyone moves into fear, and then everyone's in panic mode. So to alleviate that, you have a plan. And it also serves as a beacon for family members who may be a part in a disaster. So knowing where everyone is going and where they're going to meet is going to massively reduce any stress. And I do know that the people that in Merritt, there was quite a few people who were preppers. They've been preparing. And, when the floods came, their families were prepared. Many were not prepared. And so you want to be one of those people that if anything ever happens in your town, that you're prepared for anything. And then step 4 is create your family communication plan. This is extremely important because we don't know if our phones, computers are going to be, reliable, etc. And creating your family communication plan starts with that question, what if? So this is when you can get together with your family and ask every what if question that there is. You want to know how to answer all those questions that your family comes up with and write all those answers down. And then what you can do in regards to your communication is write down phone numbers. I would not know anyone's phone number. Any of my friends, I don't know anyone's phone number. So this is what I have to do. I have to write people's phone numbers down and their addresses down and their email addresses in case my computer goes down or my phone goes down. So that's going to be really, really important. And then, once you have that, it all written down on a piece of paper, and then I would recommend laminating it as well so that it doesn't get damaged. And then make sure that you share that copy with everyone in your family and maybe share it with your friends as well. And then practice all these questions, these what if questions, practice with your family, what you're going to do in regards to communication, who are you going to call, etc., where are you going to go, so that everyone knows exactly what to do when anything happens. 5 is creating your emergency preparedness kit. After an emergency, you may need to survive on your own for several days. So being prepared means having your own food, water to last for several days. You saw that video, right, where that man is taking his cow through the water, right? So you just never know what your soul is going to be called to do. You may be called to be volunteering and helping others. I remember when we had the flood here in Calgary, I went in with these big rain boots on, and one of the homes I was in, I was helping them clear out the mud from the main floor level, but the water had gone right up past the first the countertop on the sink. It was about a foot above the countertop. And so you never know what you're going to be involved in. So making sure that you are prepared for not only your family, but in the case of you helping others and volunteering as well. So a disaster supplies kit is a collection of basic items your family may need in the event of an emergency. You want to store your kit again in, I would say, those large plastic bins or a duffel bag, something that's easy to carry. And we've talked about this many times, but again, this is a really powerful reminder because we're witnessing what's happening right now in BC and Newfoundland. Again, home, keep this kit in a designated place and have it ready in case you have to leave your home quickly. Make sure all your family members know where the kit is kept. And if you're in your place of work, be prepared to shelter at work for at least 24 hours because you never know what's going to happen. Your work kit should include food, water, and other necessities like medicines, as well as comfortable walking shoes stored in a grab-and-go case. And then maybe you are stranded in your car. You're going to definitely have to have a emergency kit in your car 100%. Okay, so this is the list. And again, I'm going to be sharing this document here in the chat. And then you're welcome to add to it. I've created the little green boxes so that you can tick off everything that you have already done or something that you need to add to the list as well. So I'll just be giving it to you as a Word document. So the basic emergency kit can include water, of course, making sure that you have a filtration system. I have Life Straw, I highly recommend. Non-perishable foods for several days. Make sure that you gather important paperwork up, right? Insurance, investment documents, banking documents. There's a bigger list there, but you can add that to yourself. Extra cell phone, battery, charger. I actually have a camping stove from Biolite. And my camping stove, once it's lit and the fire is burning, there's actually a charger on it and I can actually charge my phone. I do recommend getting a radio. You can get the battery powered or hand cranked radio. Walkie-talkie, this is something Joshua's been talking about. This is something Terry's been talking about, and Carl as well in Lloydminster. Flashlight, extra batteries, first aid kit, we all know that. Knife, whistle. I think everyone's done with wearing a mask, but moist towelettes, garbage bags, plastic ties for personal sanitation. That's going to be so key. Poop cloths. Don't forget the poop cloth. Remember those buckets moms used to have many, many years ago with the cloth diapers in it? Yeah, I know. Non-sparking wrench or pliers, can opener. That's what they're asking at the food banks. A lot of people bring in canned food and they forget to bring a can opener. A lot of people don't even have a can opener, bottle opener. Emergency reference material such as first aid book or information, fire extinguisher, matches, fire starter. You can get fire starters, great fire starters at Bryden Solutions. Feminine supplies, personal hygiene, and then of course dinnerware, prescription medication, glasses. If you have a child, right, a baby, infant formula, diapers, check, check, check. Pet food. My girlfriend Kimberly said pet food is really becoming sparse these days. Specific brands, can't even get them anymore. Cash and change, silver, gold, sleeping bag, extra clothing, flannel, socks, shirt, paper and pencil or pen, books, games to keep children active, and then barter items. And again, if you feel overwhelmed with how much things cost, sell what you don't need in regards to what's in your home right now. You know, we're here to focus on what is truly important in our life, and we're reminding ourselves that we just need to let go of everything. So if anyone has a question, please click on the reactions button and raise your hand. And maybe you already are doing something that can assist others as well. Terry.
Hello, how are you doing?
Great, good to see you here.
Right on. I was wondering, did you find out anything about the radiation stuff? Any information from Life Force on it?
So I spoke to Kelly yesterday, and he said that Kim is working on everything that is global right now. Everything that's global, leave it to her.
Well, okay, because I had some people now that's monitoring the radiation around here every day. He's going to get back to me in 2 days because he got the Geiger counter that counts all the radiation. He didn't see any gamma rays here yet. He only measured two portions of the radiation. So I'll know in about 3 days, 2 days, how hot we are up here actually. And I think everybody should get prepared for that one because that's a big one.
Absolutely, it is, Terry. And a lot of the COVID symptoms are just mimicking radiation poisoning. And
Exactly, that's right.
yeah, and so we need to do our research on what radiation poisoning is.
I'm just kind of hoping that they keep everybody on top of that one because that is the most critical one. We got to know. I've heard that they are trying to get rid of some of the radiation and seal up the tunnels, but I don't know how that's going. I think that we should have updates on that every so many days because radiation doesn't take long to get to do a lot of damage to us. I yield.
Thank you, Terry. And the thing is,
Hey.
what we all need to remember is that we live in an energy reality, an energetic universe, right? So radiation vibrates at a certain frequency. And if you are connected to source, right, you're connected to your higher self, you're going to be vibrating at a higher frequency when you are in that love frequency. So we're being called right now to open our hearts, to be in love, to love others, to be kind, to be generous. And when we're in those high vibrational emotional states, all of that below the line, it's not going to affect us. It's just like a lot of us, right? We're all examples of this in regards to the V, right? In regards to the whole pandemic that is here. Everyone out there believes that there's this virus, but yet my mom has lived with me and she's 86 years old and she's never been sick, and we've never been sick, and there's so many of us have never been sick. But if we are getting sick, it's because our soul energy needs to dissolve and release all the toxins from our body so that we can rise up and step into the next paradigm here that we're stepping into. So it's all happening for a reason, everything. And we cannot fear anything right now because it's all here to remind us of what we are fearing still and the fears that we need to let go of. And to know that the true essence of life is here to support us. 100% true. The source of life is here to nurture us. And so we need to remember that. They are going to be showcasing all the disaster. They're going to showcase everything. Every movie that we've ever seen, we're most likely going to be witnessing it. So the movies you've been watching, right? If we've been watching any pandemic movies, right? We're actually witnessing it. It's like we're in the movie. We're in the movie sets. We are the actors. And so if we've been watching war movies, people are going to be experiencing war. Those who are watching the zombie apocalypse movie, they're probably going to be experiencing zombies. So it's going to be very important to really observe what you're wanting to manifest in the world, to become very conscious of what you're watching, what you're reading, what you're believing. And the word belief, right, has the word lie in it. So we want to be very, vigilant on what you're watching on television. And if you want love in the world, then let's watch more love movies, you know, more emotionally feel good movies out there, because what's happening right now is a collective consciousness. We're experiencing the collective consciousness of fear. Thank you. Thank you so much, Terry. Dwayne.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday to you. And Karen, great topic. I want to bring up the importance of the bug out bag. And the reason being, I know we're talking about getting prepared and stocking up and getting that storage facility filled up, or your basement or corner of your house or apartment. There's a story of a family in, I think they're just north of Merritt, and they were preppers. Yeah, they had everything. And then they had 15 minutes notice that the flood was coming. Now, they own a hobby farm, so they have a number of chickens, they had a dairy cow, and a couple other farm animals. And of course, that's their priority. So while their attention is diverted, the floodwaters come and took out their entire storage facility, just wiped it out, and including the pickup truck. And so, ironically, he was saying that, he goes, it's unbelievable. I have been preparing for this moment, this very moment. We've been preparing for it, and it just snuck up behind us and slapped us upside the head. And we don't even have a single piece in. We just forgot. We didn't put it in the other vehicle. We didn't have it for emergency vehicles. We didn't have anything to just grab and go, because they were diverted. They were trying to rescue the animals, and they just forgot about all the stuff that was for them, and it got destroyed. So it's really important that you've got something, and as soon as you can, think about it, either tomorrow or sometime this week, put something in the car. Just put it in the car, put it in the trunk, and forget about it. At least it's there. And if you don't need to use the one in the trunk or in the car, well, then that'll be your personal one. At least it's in the vehicle. If you don't have a vehicle, then have it under the stairs, or in the hanging at the hook where you put your coats and whatnot. But have it there, and don't take it lightly, because anything can happen. I mean, we're talking about floods, but I put in the comments that all of Canada is vulnerable to a polar vortex. And now we're moving into winter. And there's a lot of talk that these are not just nature just flexing. No, this is something that is an anomaly that statistically is impossible to actually happen, to have the supply chain completely wiped out. But a polar vortex that's what we would have in the prairies, or pretty much anywhere in Canada. That cold wind comes in, and then the power's cut. Wow, that's a different set of circumstances. And that polar vortex in Canada, who knows how long that can last. So it's important that you're looking at cold weather as a possible emergency that you have to contend with. And when that all goes sideways, yeah, it's going to get really anxious really quick. So make sure that you are looking at what possible emergencies can come your way. And if this is all by design, then there is some weather modification that can bring those polar vortexes into our reality. So just prepare for that. And with that, I yield.
Thank you so much, Dwayne. Wherever you are, your soul has guided you there. And if you are being guided to move, it's listening to your intuition, making sure that you follow your intuition right now. Angie?
My question is there anywhere that we can find out what areas are more vulnerable to, let's say, flooding, or is there like a particular site where we can check? There's, I actually, through intuition, we used to live close to the lake, and every morning I would wake up at 5 in the morning to meditate, and I could actually feel the entire building shift. And then through channeling, we found out that only 100 meters away, it was a small fault line within the structure of the earth. And like, I didn't know there was a fault line there. I don't think it's even recorded. But again, we were guided to move. However, that would actually affect certain areas more so than others, no?
Absolutely. As we're listening, and I'm so glad that you meditate, and I'm so glad you're following that guidance.
Mhm.
There's someone here that mentioned in the chat that you can just ask your local authorities. Each watershed has that information. Thank you, Marie.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Angie. Chantel.
I really have to appreciate everything. Even before I got on in this dialogue that was happening, and you're very intuitive. And I want to say I appreciate that a whole bunch. Wow, that's so beautiful. 10 minutes before that, I was talking to my husband and I was like, oh my goodness. It just feels like we're losing a lot of friends and we're losing a lot of family in this process right now. There's a division between, this status of vaxxed or unvaxxed and this and that mindset, when really it doesn't need to get that complicated. I was kind of dueling with listening to what you had to say, and I had a online friend go, hey, you got to listen to this thing, because tonight we were supposed to be listening to Kim and everything like that. And I went, okay, I'm going to tap into this one, but I'm also listening to a bunch of other people who are experiencing the same kind of feeling about division between family and friends right now, which I feel is like a high frequency of just not getting along. It's one side or the other. So I want to say thank you for everything and the way that you're presenting things, because you're right. Things are actually going to show themselves in a very realistic way, where we need to make sure that we have our people taken care of and that we have food and water and stuff like that. So I'm getting the sense that you guys are out in BC.
And we're all over. I'm in Calgary, but we've got everyone all over Canada here.
Awesome. So yeah, no, I gotta say that I appreciate all of your intuition and your soul sense here. And thank you so much for everything that you've done. And I appreciated listening in on this call. I yield.
Thank you, Chantal. Whereabouts are you from?
I live in Beausejour right now, Manitoba.
Manitoba.
Yes.
So glad you're here. Welcome.
Thank you.
And yes, you're so correct. We really need to have a strong support network. That is going to be essential. And so if there's anyone here from Manitoba, let Chantal know in the chat. This is about taking time to build and maintain really strong friendships right now. Ask for help when you need it, asking help from friends and family, everyone. This is so key, and really supporting all those around you that are on the same page as you. There's going to be many people, we mentioned this last week, that are going to be waking up. It might be a family member, it might be a friend. As much as we're letting go of people in the world, making sure that the people that are still in your life, they're there for a reason, and you mentioning something as in planting a seed, still plant seeds, because you never know. That person just might say, you know what? I think I'm starting to see what you're talking about. Trevor.
I was curious about this Biolite Camstove you mentioned. Where did you find it? I had a quick look online. Where did you pick yours up from?
I got it online. I'll find it and I'll put it in the chat. It's amazing. It's absolutely incredible. The technology is mind-blowing.
Nice. Do you use the wood or the pellets to power it?
I just bought it, so I haven't used it at all, but I've been buying the fire starters. And yeah, so it's just, you can just use small kindling for it as well.
Okay. The other question I wanted to ask was, what about the possibility of like just having the classic propane camp stoves? Is that a recommendation as well, or is that like kind of a safety hazard having propane inside your house?
We do have a propane camp stove as well, and so long as you have it by a window and the window's open when you're using it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor. Brian.
Got a few shelves in the back here, some lights, and growing microgreens. That was cheap and easy. Like the shelves were a couple $100. The lights were, no, the shelves were about $100. The lights were about $100. And you can grow your own food in your house. And I was not going to say anything, but I think I'd be in Alberta and everybody be talking in the meeting tomorrow and said, you should have said something yesterday, Brian. So I'm saying something. And then I got buckets, I can grow potatoes. I've got lights so that we got whatever artificial sunlight. And I got half a cow coming in January. I've got stockpiles of food. Getting ready for the worst and pray for the best. Just telling you, get ready. That I yield.
Thank you so much, Brian. This is the Biolite camp stove. If you go onto YouTube, it actually shows you in real life how it works. Here it is.
Meet the next generation of fire with the Biolite Camstove 2 Plus. A portable wood-burning stove that creates smokeless flames while generating usable electricity so you can cook your meals and charge your devices all at the same time. Featuring a patented thermoelectric design and an integrated onboard battery, you can turn your fire into power in real time or store your electricity for whenever you need it. The LED interface provides instant feedback on what's going on inside and features 4 fan speeds to control the size of your fire. Use the included flex light to illuminate your nighttime cooking with accurate color render technology and integrate with Biolite accessories for a perfect camp kitchen. And anytime you go off the grid with Biolite, you're helping us bring safe, reliable energy to households around the world. Clean energy is all around us. We just need the right tools to unlock it. Discover a smarter, cleaner campfire with the Biolite Camstove 2 Plus, part of the Biolite energy ecosystem.
Thank you, Trevor, for reminding me.
So you need wood for that? Hi, everybody. It's Eliza. I'm from Ontario, but so you need wood for that? I missed that. I guess to source the wood.
You can have a kindling with it or fire starters. You can actually buy fire starters. Yeah, very easy. So I put it in the chat. So you can check it out there.
Oh, thanks.
Alan, hello.
Hello. Yeah, I'll just put my 2 cents there. I've climbed some of the highest peaks in the world, and the Whisper Light stove, the international burn kerosene and gasoline and all those good things. And in a power outage at home, yeah, it could be used in the home. Propane is heavy and awkward and a pain in the butt. And plus, if it's really cold out, it has a read vapor pressure of -45. It's colder than that, it won't vaporize. So I've used white gas my whole life, and I really like it. It's I like that Biolite. I've been subscribed to those guys, which it looks like kind of a fun thing, but if it snows a bunch and you can't get wood, you know, I don't know if it would cook, you know, like a couple gallons of water, like melting snow. Like I could easily do that on my stove, eh? Like we snow caved and slept in high igloos up on Mount McKinley and stuff. And there's no wood, there's no nothing up there. So of course, you know, we had about 4 gallons of white gas, and it worked really, really good. So with that, I yield.
Thank you, Alan. Yes, I've seen that there's different videos on the Biolite, and they're cooking hamburgers and steaks and you name it, and making stew as well, and coffee. So it is built for two, but they say it can feed four as well.
Yeah, but just going by what Wayne was saying, yeah, if it gets really cold, must say they decided to shut the gas off for all of Western Canada just because they can do it.
Right,
Then
right. I'm trusting
the
that.
white gas, the white gas stove would be superior over that because you'd have a house full of smoke, right? So, you know, and a propane burns a little. You can get the smaller butane ones, which are fine for in the house.
Yeah,
Too,
yes,
I guess. So
yes.
all that's at the Mountain Co-op. I'm sure you can buy maybe that thing at the Mountain Co-op too, eh?
Thank
Okay,
you, Alan.
cool.
Appreciate it. And thank you, DK, for sharing the forum. And thank you, Tom, for sharing the Life First Canada Telegram group. Yes, we do have a Telegram group. Deborah.
Hi, just a couple of things. When someone was talking about how the segregation is happening and all that, I had someone actually back away from me in a store because I didn't have a mask on. And it was someone I knew yet. And I'd step forward, she'd step backwards. And she kept doing that. And that happened on Saturday, and it's still bothering me today. That's bad that it's still bothering me. But anyway, well, I think I might have to get that thing that you posted, that what did you call it? Bioflame? Yeah.
Biolite?
Yeah. Just in the fact that it charges your phone. Because I too have a whole bunch of stuff in the freezer. I have a whole bunch of freeze-dried stuff. And I've been thinking about getting a growing light and everything. But what happens if they shut the power off? Like all our food that's in the freezer is going to go bad unless it is 30 below, and then we can put it outside. But
thank you, Deborah. And yes, it can be frustrating, to see people out there, friends, wearing masks and getting involved in this whole, the clown show that's out there. What's really important is what's gonna take us higher is forgiving them, sending them love, sending them compassion, because they've just been indoctrinated, right? They've forgotten who they are. And so we just really need to send them love right now. So Brian shared about microgreens. I haven't checked this one out, Brian, but my friend Kimberly just bought it, and it's on Amazon. It's a grow kit for microgreens. And so I just shared that in the chat. And if anyone wants to check it out, she thinks it's just amazing. And so she showed us pictures of her little babies are growing. Yeah, I just want to also remind everyone, during this time to really take good care of yourself. It's really important to eat a well-balanced diet right now, healthy food. Yeah, on Facebook, I posted, it's a photo of a McDonald's hamburger and fries and a chicken McNugget. And the photo was actually taken 11 years ago. Okay, there's the McDonald's burger. See, it still looks good, doesn't it? Yeah, all right. October 19th, 2020 is when she posted it, but she said, it's that time of year again, everyone's favorite post, happy 11th birthday McDonald's cheeseburger, chicken nuggets, and French fries made it to a decade. So it was her daughter's fifth grade science project. And so she hung on to it for 11 years now, and it's still there. So that stuff is not food, right? I don't know what that is, but it's a technology that has been created to make sure that we don't live past 100 years old. So making sure that you're eating well, and you're getting enough sleep, and you're drinking enough water, cutting back on caffeine, and exercise, just even if it's a walk around the block, and just making sure that you're meditating and really creating a routine that is for you, right? When you're exercising and when you're looking after your health, it means you love yourself, right? You have self-respect, because you're going to need all the energy within you, that life force energy, to keep you moving through this transition that we're in right now. Yes, Kendra, I do yoga every morning. My yoga mat is at the base of my bed on the floor, and I am there on the yoga mat. And it is one of the best things I've ever done for myself. So I do highly recommend you take time for you. Brian?
Yeah, I think I stirred up a little interest. A few people private messaged me, but just stockpiling most things that are going to last a long time. Flour is one of the key things that I think, like I got about 120 pounds of flour here. I got about 90 pounds of pasta, maybe 40 pounds of rice. These are just more or less filler things. And then I get into half a cow. Now we have canned goods, but you're stockpiling this stuff for the long term, because if it gets really bad, there's no turning back and saying, oh, I should have. Even as much as I have, I still think I need more. With that, I yield.
Thank you so much, Brian. Now, are you having to put anything in your flour? Like, are you putting into Muller bags?
No, the flour, I've been going through my flour fast enough because I never buy bread. I'm baking my own bread all the time. So it goes fast enough. I got about 6 pounds of yeast, because that's one thing that when the stores were basically making you wear a mask, one of the first things that you couldn't find was yeast. So I got lots of yeast on that, and I think I still need more, but there's may be some concern that flour does go bad, or some of this other stuff does go bad, but when you're buying it in such big quantities, you can, I feel, afford to throw away what goes bad. As long as you have enough, you will not regret it.
Thank you, Brian.
Gives me peace of mind, like you said.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for doing everything that you're doing, shining your light in the world, and stepping forward no matter what. Together we rise, everyone. Thank you for being here. If you want to stay for the awesome meditation, you're welcome to do so. If you can't, I completely understand. Lots of love to you.
Thanks again, Karen. Good
Good night,
night.
everyone.
Night.
Good night, everyone.
Everybody.
Okay, so for those who are going to stay for meditation, sit back in your chair, make sure that your legs are uncrossed, your feet are on the floor, spine is straight. Close your eyes. Just want to make sure that we're reducing all the stress in our life. If we're having any anxiety, fear, uncertainty of the future, meditation is one of the most powerful tools. And as you close your eyes, I want you to focus on your breath. When you are reminding yourself to create a deep belly breath moment, if you breathe deeply for even 5 minutes a day, dis-ease cannot be in your body, because you're breathing in that life force energy, and that life force energy has the power to dissolve all the lower frequencies. Your breath is life itself, and we haven't been taught to breathe deeply. We become shallow breathers. Awesome. So breathe in to the count of 5 and breathe out to the count of 5. And as you're breathing in, you're breathing in that life force energy, and you can see it as an actual color, a gold color. It can be purple, blue, and you're seeing that color just being breathed in into your brain, into the back of your head, into your neck, into your shoulders, into your through and down your arms, into your chest, down, down, down into your organs, because you're filling up your belly. And when you exhale, you're just letting go. You're just letting go of everything that does not serve your highest good. And so as you're focusing on your breath, just allow my words to become your own. I am safe. I am safe. I am safe wherever I am, as I am divinely protected. I am safe. I am supported. I am supported by the invisible realms of divine love. I am supported. I am surrounded by the loving energy of life. I am open to change. I chose to be born now to move through this time of a great awakening. I am so happy to be a part of the awakening at this time. The people I attract are full of kindness. I am safe, therefore I can follow my intuition. I am free to unfold and accept what is. I am standing on solid ground. I only attract honest and kind people into my life. I am breathing deeply. and I can let go. I'm letting go of all of my fears. I trust that everything is happening for the evolution of humanity. I am prepared for anything. My higher self is not concerned with safety. My higher self already knows it is always surrounded in love. My higher self accepts all of life and graciously sends love out to all those who are ready to receive. I know my inner peace is the new success. I'm saying yes to myself and preparing for a new expansive life. I am safe in the divine flow of life. I'm excited about the future because I am an adventurer. So you're just going to breathe at a regular pace now. You're just going to breathe in silence. On the count of 3, you can open your eyes. So 1, bring yourself back into the room. 2, bring yourself back into your body. Deep breath. Exhale. And 3. Thank you again, everyone, for showing up. Lots of love to you. And I look forward to seeing you on the think tanks this week. I'll be on the one on Friday at noon. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Love you
Thank
all.
you. Thank you, Karen. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Karen. Thanks, everyone. Blessed
Have a
day.
great week. Have a great week.